to this football.
Never in doubt, was it? We never lose to Leicester at home. Bournemouth 4, Leicester City 1 at the Vitality Stadium. Hello, my name's Sam Davis and welcome to the full-time free-for-all where you can come along and have your say live for the next hour and a bit. For the first time, I've got one of these. It may not last long. It could be too little too late, but at least we're going out with a bit of passion, something that we didn't have in that first half because, let's face it, we witnessed a slow performance, a lack of belief, poor passing, lack of cohesion, and a showing which ultimately it left us bereft of confidence. Like a faithful family dog, it felt like we were about to get put down. But after half-time, with a slight whimper and a wag of the tail, the S.A.S took over. And one of the S's, Stanislas, you think, yeah, he could step up, but maybe not the other one. Solanke, scoring not one, but two. I think I need a few of these to actually cope. Boscombe Albion on Twitter. Do you follow him? Probably not. He's going to be turning in his grave tonight because Cherries actually won a game. And our execution, our stay of execution in the Premier League, it goes on for another week at least. Who knows how long it will last? Like I say, it could be too little too late. But just grab a pair of headphones if you want to come on today. Just plug them into your device. Go to afcbpodcast.com/take part. First person I'm going to bring in is Craig Beasley, and he has got a smile on his face. Craig,
fucking brilliant. Honestly, Sam, absolutely over the moon, mate. Absolutely over the moon. Honestly, at half time, I thought it was curtains. I was speaking to Tom Jordan and I was like, no, there's no hope. Spoke to Kirk as well on Twitter. As flat as a pancake, basically resigned myself to Championship football next season. And Solanke, wow.
It's just nice to have that feeling back, isn't it? And you know what? It may not result in anything. We may lose heavily against Man City. Who knows? It could be Saints that relegate us still. However, it's just nice to have that hope still. And you know what? I'm sort of resigned to the fact that I don't really care what division we end up in now. I've kind of had a lot of time to think about it, and there are pros, there are cons of being in the Premier League, being in the Championship. One of which, of course, is the money side in the Premier League. Yeah. But in terms of like football enjoyment, we all know that the Championship was, the pinnacle. However, the Premier League gives us an incredible spotlight, and the world saw tonight that AFC Bournemouth have got a bit of fight, and we've got a chance.
Oh, honestly, I think we've got, I still can't see us beating City, but, there's that small little hope that we could get something up there. It's that hope that probably kills you, but at the same time, there's that little bit of hope. I'm desperate to beat that bloody lot up the M27, and who knows what will happen against Everton. But it's that little bit of hope, like you say, Sam. I'm absolutely delighted. I never saw that coming from Solanke.
It's that kind of goal that many strikers who are on a barren run of form. The way it trickled over the line, and then from a perspective of a fan watching, you're thinking, "What on earth's going on?" Now, can I ask? Do you watch with the fake crowd sound on, or do you
watch it with the fake crowds?
Right. Well, for the past two performances, I've watched it off. I'm telling you now, I'm doing that for the rest of the Premier League season. We've got a point, and then we've got 3 points. But the way it went in, and then all the kind of commotion afterwards, I was thinking, what's going on? Is it going to be VAR'd? And as it happens, Solanke gets sent off, and it makes our job easier because playing against Leicester's 10 men, we actually played a bit more like the Bournemouth way, didn't we? And it was fantastic to see. And we seem to have so much space and time on the ball, something that it seems we've rarely had up until this point.
Oh yeah, we controlled the game. As soon as Solanke went off, which was completely the right decision. We controlled the game, and the team did ever so well. In fact, I said to somebody, I can't remember who it was on Twitter, I said they somehow they just turn into men possessed at a certain point. And honestly, mate, I'm absolutely delighted. Solanke's second goal in particular was well taken. And I wonder if this has given him the little bit of confidence.
Top scorer now, isn't he, or something stupid based on the fact he got to. Who knows? But yeah, you know, I mean, that second one, as AD Mansbridge says, "Am I dreaming? Am I dreaming?" And Dan Millar, hello mate, hope you're well. He said, "Never write Howe or Bournemouth off. Traditionally, we've never done these things easy. There's a long way to go." And look, we're all just reveling in the excitement that we've got. And anyone on chat that's coming on and is saying that we are maybe, you know, enjoying the moment when we probably won't be staying in the Premier League. Well, look, just let us enjoy this moment anyway. I'm going to bring in someone who's going to be very excited from Florida, Paul Lawrence, who's here, and also Steve Browning's here as well. So I'll bring Steve in. But Paul, how
Paul.
that?
I've actually got a shirt on today, haven't I?
How are you feeling?
Lucky. Unbelievable. I mean, it's been taking me on a roller coaster ever since the lockdown and the return. And all I can tell you is that there was part of me that nearly turned it off at half time. I've not done that in a long time. I don't think I've ever walked out of a game late or anything like that. And I nearly walked away from it because it was the most disgusting performance I'd seen in the first half. And I'm actually kind of really still frustrated that Nathan Ake gets injured from what is a ridiculous back pass. And, you know, if Ake's out for the rest of the season, I'm still going to be thinking about that. But going back to the performance and kind of the reaction we got out of the lads really in the second half, as bad as the first half was, we were just looking for a bit of luck, something to claw our way back into the game. And obviously it's come from Schmeichel's horrendous, very casual kick out the box. I have no idea what he was doing. And I thought, you know, at that point there against 10 men that we had a real chance to go on and win it. And Sam, and as everyone just said there, the way that we played once we kind of, you know, tied the game up was just an example of what confidence can do. I know we're playing against 10 men. I understand that. But the way that we were knocking the ball around, the movement, I've never seen movement off the ball like that in several games. And I'm just praying that Eddie can get them in there and say, look what happens when you feel good about the way that we're playing. And it's obviously still within the lads to play that way. They've just got to, for whatever reason in the first half, they've got to have more belief. And I think finally this might be the belief that they need. I will say, just add something on Solanke. You could see the moment he scored that there's a top player in there. Eddie Howe sees him every week at practice. His technical ability was better the second he scored. His decision-making, his movement, the way he was closing people down. I'm telling you right now, that might just be something there. That might be the Solanke that we hope is in there.
Can I just add to that as well?
Yeah.
Because in the first half, there was a pass back for Brooks. And it's a back pass heel, and it was fantastic, you know. And there was the crossover to Callum Wilson. It was pretty much pinpoint. Callum could have probably done a little bit better. I agree with you, Paul. There's something in there. You know, he's not a bad player. I think, you know, before that, I was thinking, well, you know, what's he doing? You know, what's he doing? I would have rather Surridge on, which Surridge, when he did come on, played really well. But there is a player in there, without a shadow of a doubt. Eddie wouldn't have signed him otherwise.
The camera zoomed in here in the US. The camera zoomed in on his facial expressions, and it was like the most relaxed face you could ever imagine a human being to have. And you could just see what it means to him to score that goal in the Premier League. And I've seen it at youth levels. I've seen it at professional levels. If you can just get that player to now have a little bit more belief in his ability, the overall game, his build-up play, the way he's linking and decisions, it's worth looking at him the next few games if King's out, just to kind of see what he gives us.
Steve Browning's also here with us. How did you enjoy? I mean, what a tale of two halves, completely, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I'm in agreement with the other two that I think it was difficult the first half. Solanke, I don't think, had a great first half. I don't think some of the balls were played to him that right. I think he seemed to just be running around the field almost lost. But when it was really hooked up, then you would see small glimpses of it. And like Paul said, I think with 10 men down, I think it really had the fire in the boys where they could see the end of the tunnel. And I think they just went for it all. So yeah, it's a long time coming for Solanke. So like Paul said, I think we wait a few games, we see where he is and go from there. But I'm glad Sturridge came on, if I'm honest.
Yeah. What do you think? What was behind Howe's thinking in leaving out Stanislas, who performed so well in the last match? He leaves him off, for the first half at least. What do you think the thinking behind that was?
Oof. Yeah, I mean, Dan Juma, I think 1v1. Can he come inside a little bit more and can he go past people with a little bit more pace? Perhaps. But for me, he looked off the pace today. I thought looked a little bit lost. The whole team in the first half was an absolute shambles. I mean, it was arguably the worst performance I've seen from a Bournemouth team in a long time.
I'm not sure about that, Paul. We've seen the Newcastle game was bad. Huddersfield a couple of years back was terrible. And to be honest, Norwich this season was bad. But I've got to agree. Yeah. It wasn't good.
I think I was just kind of looking at the way we set up. I saw that they were playing with a back three. Once again, whenever we play Dan Gosling next to Lerma, they just don't cover the lateral spaces at all. We just cannot cover that space centrally. And I'm really concerned, once again, with us playing with two in there again against their three, and it seemed to be a problem early on. Eddie, he's reluctant to change things in-game. He always seems to wait till half-time. But I think we were lucky not to be 2 or 3 goals down at half-time, I must admit. Dan Gosling can get yanks at half-time. I've got to imagine he's feeling pretty low right now. He'll be happy that the squad pulled out a win. But as much as we love Dan and his work rate and the way plays with his heart on his sleeve, athletically, he just can't play in there as a two-man system. And I felt for me like he was going to get red carded as well because he was going in so hard in the tackle. I don't think we were set up great, I must admit. I love Eddie, but I don't think we were set up to play very well in the first half, if I'm being completely honest. And if anything, the way we forced our way back into the game is a little bit of luck. It wasn't from quality football. Now, once we've earned the goal, we're playing with confidence and it's a different game. But I wouldn't say we've forced our way back into that with playing good football. That's certainly not the case here.
I think it's nice to get a bit of confidence back, regardless, even if it was been gifted to us. And I feel for the likes of, this is Lewis from Norwich City Central, fellow friend and YouTube channel. And I feel for those guys because they started very, they beat Man City at home, which was, hopefully we can do something along those lines at the Etihad on Wednesday. I doubt it, but, just imagine if we did. But it was... Come on,
Tottenham. Come on.
Do you think we can, Steve?
Yeah.
Well, how bad?
We need some more luck, don't we? But,
Sam, honestly, mate, there is nothing that would please me more than me having to jog down that bloody beach, in nothing but a sock, Honestly, mate, there'd be nothing that would please me more, and just fingers crossed. And plus, if you think about it, either West Ham versus Watford, hopefully, I've planned it all out. Hopefully, West Ham win because Watford's last 2 games are dodgy.
Well, yeah, they've got Man City like we have, and also they've got Arsenal away. But I'll tell you one thing about tonight that is a good thing. The goal difference hasn't done bad for that, has it? I mean, take a look. We've made that up now to only 3 in it, which is not bad.
If Sam had tucked that chance away as well, which he should have done.
It now sort of begs the question of how we approach the Man City match, bearing in mind that Watford have got them 2. Do we go in and try to park the bus and contain them as much as possible to maybe get away with a 0-0 or at worst a 1-0 loss or whatever? Maybe they could put 4 or 5 past Watford, and then that point that Watford have got based on their, superior goal difference, could be negated, and it's just basically a shootout for the last few games. Maybe, Craig.
What you've got to think as well is that, of course, Watford have got them after we have. If we only get beat 1-0, for example, then Watford know that they might have to go for it and it might leave opportunities at the back, especially if they get beat by West Ham, which I think West Ham have got a little bit too much. I think they'll probably pull out of it. I honestly think it's going to be between us and Watford.
Yeah, well, you know what? Even when I've been doing I know that Villa got the points today, but I've just been looking at the teams ahead of us rather than those that are beneath us. What I'm going to do is bring in 2 more people at the moment to keep things going. By the way of Morgan, Scott, who's on the preview with me, and also Ben Phillips is standing by as well. So we'll get Ben on, Kirk and David and Louis. We can see you, so we will bring you in shortly. But Morgan, it was not long ago today that I was chatting to you. You predicted, quite bizarrely, a 3-0. 4-1, just as good, eh? You must be ecstatic right now, surely. Can you hear me, Morgan?
Well, when I think I can. Yeah, we're here. We got a few lags in the background, but we're here. All good. I feel like I won the lottery. What an absolutely performance! I put on a thing on Twitter at halftime, and it had, Eddie, give me a call. Dominic Solanke is absolutely horrendous. Give me a call and I'll head down to Vitality now. And now I look like a right and utter muppet.
Yeah.
My celebration for Solanke's goal was probably loud enough for him to hear at his house. It was absolutely incredible. We are now going to, I said today that Dominic Solanke will score off his knee. It wasn't the best goal we're ever going to see, but it went in, and that's all that matters. AFC Bournemouth are back for the first time in a long time scoring goals, and they haven't just got 1 goal. They got 4, and not only importantly have they got 4 goals that we were talking about, Sam, for the for goal difference. Yeah. AFC Bournemouth have now got 3 points, and AFC Bournemouth will now go on to beat Manchester City and Southampton, and then we will go. Oh my God! It's absolutely a shambles.
Have a lie down, mate. You are off the one. But I tell you what I'll do is I'll bring some more people in. But Paul, just before I let you go, in terms of Man City, what do you think Eddie's going to be saying to the players? Obviously, he likes to concentrate on the positives, but you can't get away from the fact that first 45 minutes was atrocious, wasn't it?
Yeah, he'll have them at practice. I imagine tomorrow they'll have a little look through what they're going to do. Haven't they typically gone with a 3-5-2 against City before? I actually am kind of interested to see what we look like in a 3-5-2. It's been a while since we played that. I think in many ways, when the formation dictates kind of the way that we're going to play out the back, I think that might help us, because lately we've been that's been kind of the struggle for us. And I think Eddie's, Jason, are really looking forward to kind of getting to grips with hopefully a system that has served us well at times. And I think one thing you'll find next week is as they prepare, the lads are going to be flying around the practice field. I mean, they're going to be absolutely loving every moment of practice next week. And that's all Eddie and Jason needed. Enthusiasm and players to be galvanized by each other. And now you're going to get to practice with your squad and look forward to training and preparing for it. You could see the kind of reaction at the end of the game. There's a little bit of belief now. And I think that the way you prepare for the game is you go after it. with the idea that you can try to win the game. I don't think we sit back and kind of wait to get beat. I think you've just got to give them a good game, and I think that's what Eddie Howe will do. And if I'm a betting man, I think that Eddie will set us up in a pressing system to see if we can win the game somehow.
Brilliant. Paul from Florida, thanks very much for coming in, buddy, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you, mate. And Steve, Nathan Ake looks like, according to someone who I was just Alan, who put a comment on the board, says it looks like he's out for the rest of the season. Well, I mean, I suppose you wouldn't have known it based on that second half, but against Manchester City, we might be feeling the pinch somewhat. Yeah,
but Steve Cook was definitely looking feisty at the back when he came on, and I think he has a lot to come back after the comments he mentioned a few weeks back, and I think he needs to prove himself with Eddie. So I think it's, as much as it hurts to see Ake out, I'm glad that they've brought Cook back and they haven't put, not that Simpson's bad, but I'm glad that they put Cookie on rather than Simpson for definite.
Yeah. Cheers, Rob, up the Cherries. And thank you very much, Steve, for coming on. Really appreciate it, buddy.
Cheers.
And remember, if you want to get involved, just go to afcbpodcast.com/take part on your phone or your device, plug your headphones in, and then we'll chat to you. Ben, I'm coming to you next, but in the meantime, in the background, I will bring in Louis, who's been standing by, as is David in Washington there. Right, Ben Phillips, how are you?
Oh, I'm amazing, honestly. That second half performance was probably the best performance I'm ever going to see Bournemouth put in, honestly.
Well, this season,
it was amazing.
I mean, but even the first 10, 15 minutes wasn't great of that second half. But then it was just that, that one moment. And do you remember Brighton? Was it Brighton at home this season where we were playing pretty poorly throughout? And then Rico had a shot that hit the post. And it's almost like your confidence started to course through the veins of the players. And then they were playing on the attack, fast, attacking, progressive football. And then we went on to score more and more. We ended up winning that 3-1. It was just one of these individual moments that seemed to turn the game. And for Leicester, they just completely lost their heads, didn't they?
They did. I think after Solanke got sent off, there was just nothing in the Leicester team. I think they had one shot in the second half, maybe two. But after Solanke got sent off, they were just rubbish, to be honest.
Yeah.
And we really attacked them, and we looked really, really good. And I think if there was someone who didn't follow English football and turned it on just before the penalty, I think they would think that we were maybe a top 4 side doing something like that.
That's what the commentator said, actually. So, at that point at 2-1 or whatever it was, you said, which team is it? And you certainly wouldn't. Yes, I know they were down to 10 men, but there are times where we've gone down to 10 men. And it's actually galvanised us and we've played better, but they just played poorly. But you did see those moments. I mean, how much space did Stanislas have down that right side? And he cut in, and obviously it was a deflected goal. And then everyone just seemed to get sharper. Dom Solanke with his second goal, he anticipated the ball. And, David watching in Washington, I mean, what were your thoughts on that?
I thought it was, as you said, a terrible first half. But the second half, it's funny, we were watching it as a group through NBC. So we had about 25 Cherries fans watching it through a team online chat. And Rebecca Lowe, who's one of the hosts, came on and said, "Oh, good luck, and I hope you win, the rest of your games." And then we scored. So we were saying we need to bring her back on as a lucky charm from now on. The other thing is, I heard Alex Deutsch refused to watch the game today, so I think that's another reason why they won. We have to say, Alex, please don't watch any more games for the rest of the season, and we'll stay up. But I thought Solanke, I'm so pleased for him because fans have been getting on his back for the whole season, and I think confidence will now come from that. I think we can get a point at City. I think we can beat Southampton, and I told you it's going to come down to the last game of the season. We're going to beat Everton, and Watford are going to go down.
Wow. Well, Watford have been in this position where they felt as though it's in their hands before, and then it's not quite gone for them. Maybe it's a repeat of that, or maybe if it does go their way, they can say to themselves, "Well, you got the Championship trophy, we've got Premier League football." I'm sure that there will be a lot of Twitter debate about that. Louis, watching, feelings after a 4-1 victory, mate?
Come on, Bournemouth! On Mr. Tiggs' advice, I bought a cherry lolly. So
You did. Well done, mate.
that might have been something to do with our performance.
Yeah.
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 I think it was. I went to I remember at one point I went to sort out my dinner, and then I saw my stream was a bit behind. I saw a message from my mum saying "OMG." I thought, let's quickly get back to the stream. Then I managed to see the second goal and the red card. I put a message on Twitter when we got them down to 10 men saying, "Come on, let's get 1 or 2 goals, get our goal difference to be something half decent." So I'm glad they listened to me there.
Well, it's not too bad, really. I mean, if we can do a couple more wins like that, I mean, the goal difference will soon be, very much level. Who do you think played well today for you, Louis?
Well, first half, not really anyone, but definitely very impressed with Dom. Once he got that, he gets the goal, gets a bit of confidence, then it's really put him in his stride. And then second goal was very impressive.
Yeah, it was. Dan Miller's come on chat saying, "Where is Jeff Hayward? Fallen off his chair again." Hopefully we can entice him back in. I haven't even organised how we're going to record the podcast tonight, because there's a podcast coming out on your podcast app at 7 a.m. tomorrow, and we haven't organised the recording of that, so hopefully it'll happen, fingers crossed. Maybe he's had a vino or two. A lot of people in the chat here have been giving Dom a lot of praise. Are we fickle fans? Because we're on his back one week, and then now he's scored a couple of goals. We're seemingly loving the guy. Craig?
No, I think the confidence coming back into him, especially for that second goal. He didn't play brilliant first half. He had some good moves. There is definitely, like Paul said, a player in there. The crossover to Callum Wilson for the first opportunity. Callum should have done better. And then there was a back heel into the path of Brooks, which Brooks, pulled a good, made Kasper Schmeichel make a good save out of. So I think it's a confidence thing. I think there is definitely a good player in there. There's still a lot of work to do. There's still a lot of convincing to do. But there is no doubt that this could be the start of something now. It takes, sometimes with some players, it takes a little bit of time, it takes a little bit of confidence for them to get going. And hopefully Dom Solanke is one of those. Hopefully it's not too late. Hopefully we can pull off the Great Escape 2, which is, wow. I was, in fact, when we went 3-1 up, and I picked up the little one and swung her around the room, and she's now singing "We Are Staying Up, Go to Bed." So honestly, guys, it's absolutely brilliant. I'm just fingers crossed. There's still a long way to go. Glass half full, but at the same time, there's no better feeling. And we've got to hold on to that.
Yeah, agreed. Now, Louis and Morgan, I'm just going to take you out the chat for a bit, because there are other people trying to get in, and as we've got a maximum, we can only have a certain amount of people even waiting. So I'll bring Rich in very, very shortly. But, David, what I like about you on Twitter is that you don't jump down the player's throat straight away. You're very cool, calm and composed. One thing I think is fine. Okay. It's okay if you think we're staying up. It's okay if you think we're going down. But what I don't think is okay to piss on the bonfire of the people that still have the audacity of having a little bit of hope that gives them comfort. And a lot of people do have hope. But there are people saying, no, you're talking shit. Like, it's good to sort of maintain the balance, I think. And after that result, I suspect your optimism is maybe a little bit more authentic.
if you'd asked me at half time, I wasn't very optimistic. But the person I'm really pleased for, Eddie.
Yeah.
Because, and you saw him at the end, he wasn't jumping up and down. It was typical Eddie. Don't get too excited. Don't get too down. And some of the crap that has been posted on the Facebook pages of so-called fans about Eddie is, in my opinion, just disgusting. Right?
Great.
He has taken us to the Premier League and he's kept us there for 5 years. Even if we were to go down, we would have still had 5 more years in the Premier League than any of us ever thought was possible. We should be building a statue to him, not telling him that he should go and get off the bus and get another manager. But these people, who do they want to bring in?
Well, that's
right?
the thing.
I mean, it's just, and I am the person I'm most pleased for tonight is him and Solanke, because I think what he's had to, and I don't think Eddie does social media, and I think he doesn't do it for a reason because he doesn't want to get into that. Who'd want to listen to some of this crap that has been posted about you?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm pleased for him. I hope we stay up. I don't know if he'll stay. To be honest with you, if we stay up, some other club might come after him.
You never know. Yeah, you never know. Well, David, thank you so much for coming on. And it's nice to see you with a smile on your face again. So, yeah.
Yes.
Appreciate you coming on, mate. Enjoy the rest of your day in Washington. And I just cut him off at the worst time. Rich, I'll bring you in. How are you feeling after that? 4-1 to Bournemouth against Leicester.
Hello.
Looking for the Champions League space. Man United fans are coming on chat. Very happy with us. But... yeah, 3 points in the bag and +3 on the goal difference column as well.
Well, yeah, it's a goal of a game to us, isn't it, that one? I mean, to be fair, the first half, just forget, total write-off. Nobody, the second half, what happened? Somebody's said something at half-time because totally different game. I mean, I for one might get slated here, but it's easy to say now, I know, but I, for one, have been at the back of Dom. People have been slating Dom, etc. I've seen something in him, but the hold-up play and everything, I've always been impressed of. But I'm keen to see Kirk's comments on this after this about Solanke.
I'm sure we'll come on to that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this, but obviously he had a good game. Long overdue for the amount they paid and everything. So I'm really happy for him. I'm happy with the team and happy for all of us. To be fair,
yeah,
it's a good night. Let's celebrate it while we can. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's what we're doing.
Days.
And Ben, how old are you? And what's that? Is that a bottle of red I'm seeing there?
It is.
You're still on your
care.
It's still hard times with you then, Sam. You're still on your 49p Bacardi Breezer. Mix with WKD. What is it?
This is Peroni here this week.
Oh, Peroni, that's strong stuff.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's what it is. You need to drink Peroni for the rest of the season there.
Yeah, well, you know what I've done, as I said earlier, like I've been watching with the stadium sounds off, because I want to hear how angry or how frustrated or disappointed or whatever all the players are.
It's good,
with the stadium sounds on, you can't really hear that. So I wanted to hear some kind of frustration, and at 1-0 down, I heard a little bit of that, but it was so nice watching it 2-1, 3-1, 4-1, and you know what? It's just changed our evenings. And now Morgan and Louis, I'm still bringing in people. So if you want to come back in about 20 minutes or so, we will get you on because what they're doing is they're taking up spaces in the waiting room. And then there are some people trying to get on. I think Jeff's trying to get on as well. Luca, I'll come to you very shortly. Kirk, I will ask you your say because you're always authentic with your opinion. But Ben, firstly, how's the Merlot going down there?
I think I'm nearly halfway through. I'm nearly halfway through. I'm about there. So I think by the end of the evening, I'll probably have gone through maybe 2 bottles and maybe a bottle of gin. But
it's what he does. It's what he does. So Ben, obviously you're absolutely delighted with that performance. where does it rank? This, I mean, it's very difficult to do at this point because, you know, if we did survive, I'm sure the match that secures a survival will be ranked as the best one. But, you know, where does that rank for you this season? Because we've had some pretty good moments.
Mhm.
Southampton away, you know, like Everton at home was quite convincing. Chelsea away, where does that rank for you?
I think this, at the moment, it would come top because I think there was a stat on Sky Sports that showed about 40 minutes in that it said like the least points taken from losing positions. There was Norwich who had 0 and us with 2, and I think that it didn't look that convincing from a neutral point of view for other people. But yeah, I think that makes it even better that we managed to score 4 goals in half an hour, something like that, maybe even less. So yeah, I think it would come top, close to Chelsea. But yeah.
Good stuff, Ben. Appreciate having you on. And Stephen Browning sends a message saying, "How old is Ben? He doesn't look old enough. Heads up, he's my nephew, and I know he's not really drinking that and drinking the gin later. It is just a joke." But that performance, tonight would have been perhaps regarded as a joke by Brendan Rodgers. I mean, what must have he been thinking? What would he be saying to their players, Ben? 4-1 loss at a team that's relegation fodder, that looks it anyway.
I think he'll just be saying, like, if you want to get top 4, then you need to buck your ideas up because they're on a torrid run of form at the moment. Like they're not doing well, and I think at the new year they were second. They were looking quite comfortable, and people were maybe tipping them for the title. And now they're maybe going to struggle to get top 5, top 6. So I think they're just going to say to keep your discipline because I think that they definitely could have had Ndidi sent off for the penalty as well as Solanke as well. So I think their heads went at the wrong time. And I think they just need to say, if you carry on performing like that, then you're going to get nowhere.
Brilliant, Ben. Thank you very much for coming on. Appreciate that. And enjoy the rest of your alcohol. Excellent stuff. Kirk, we will be coming to you, but what we'll just do is come to Luca quickly as well. He's standing by. He's been there for a while. Mark and Simon, I can see you, so I'll bring you in very shortly. Luca, let's see if I can unmute you from this end. You may need to unmute yourself. 4-1. Not bad, eh?
Yeah, quality result for the boys. I mean, at times during the game, I thought I was watching CR7. Like, wow, Solanke, Jesus,
it's
unbelievable.
Yeah, it really is. Who, of course, we could go for, Solanke as being a standout player. Many people will say Stanislas as well. Anyone else do well enough for you today?
Dan Gosling, he did well. Passed a few balls about, and he's just class in midfield. And Ake was unfortunate to get injured, but it's one of them things at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yeah, agreed. Nice
He
one.
had a good second half, he did.
Yeah, he did. Man City, will we get anything realistically, Luca? Will we?
I don't think so. Not with the class of Aguero, De Bruyne, Sané, Sterling. I don't think we've got anything against them, to be honest. Especially with Ake out now as well. It's just one of them.
Yeah.
Oh, Morgan.
Agreed. Thank you very much for coming on, mate. Really appreciate you coming on, Luca. And on standby, we've got Simon and Mark. We'll bring you in very shortly to talk about things. Simon over there in America, and Mark, who we've had on before. However, Kurt Tovey, you did your run this morning. You were feeling relatively positive, or it was kind of one of those motivational "we must win" type of speeches, and well, they did wonders for you, mate.
Looks like I'm running a little bit more, doesn't it?
Yeah, do it.
I'm still wondering if I'm in a dream or not. I mean, great at the end, obviously, and it's been a long time since me and the boys celebrated like that, so it was a great feeling to have. Let's not get carried away that the first 65 minutes were not great. They gifted us one goal and obviously left the doors open for the second goal. So they let us in. We took advantage of that, and then obviously the old Bournemouth and those players finally found that they're not bad footballers again, and we obviously cleared them up 4-1, playing how we've been playing in previous seasons. So yeah, we were gifted 2 goals, and then we were back. So that's good to see. Confidence is there. We're not going to be gifted another 6 points, in my opinion. We are going to have to play better than that, because we can't hope that teams are going to let us in after 65 minutes.
But Solanke still scored 2 goals, Kurt. Come on, I want to hear you talk about it. Come on.
No problem. So I've always tried to stick up for him. I've always thought that there might be a player in there. I've always thought, if he gets a goal, is it a confidence thing? I'd go back again and say the last few weeks and the last few runs, I have thought I'm going to hold back on commenting on Solanke, because there's only so many times you can do it. Now, we're only going to know going forward in the future whether he's going to become a world beater or whether these are just one-off moments that he's going to give us. I hope it's the latter. It's he's going to become a world beater and a great player for us. But we're only going to find that out in time. Great for him tonight. I think me and Craig said, a few weeks ago, that we thought it was a confidence thing, and we were saying that Callum's going to be out, he's going to be suspended. Go with Solanke. If he gets a goal, it might just give him that lift. I'm hoping that's the case. We're only going to find out in time. It's a great moment for him. It's going to be a great night for him, and we're all smiling. So that's where I'm at the moment, Rich.
I do agree with you, actually, Kurt, about for the first 65 minutes, we weren't brilliant. However, that confidence eased back into the side. We played like the old Bournemouth. We played, and Solanke's second goal was fantastically taken. I didn't realise he had that in him. But there was that confidence that eased back into the side. And now what we've got to do, what Eddie's got to do, is package that up and say, right, okay, we've done that. It's there. It's there. We've got that. We need to take that into the Man City game, but especially the Southampton and Everton games, because those 2 games are the games that we need to win to stay in this league. The Man City game, I think they're going to be very, very difficult to beat. If we can actually get something from there, that's a bonus. But we have to beat Southampton. We have to beat Everton. And, if we do that, we deserve to be here. The past couple of weeks, we've shown anything but. Against Newcastle, we were absolutely appalling. Against Palace, we're absolutely appalling. We can't go back to that. We need to make sure we package this up and move forwards from this.
I mean, how many weeks have we been going, it's now or never, we have to win, we've got to pick up 3 points, and for me, it's quite funny that we're having these conversations and everyone's positive, and you think this could have been a different conversation an hour ago. Let's think that they don't gift us the first goal and we end up going on to lose the game. We're having conversations about Eddie Howe bringing on Billing. We're having conversations about Eddie Howe chucking Stacey over at left wing back. I as I've said time and time again, I want him to stay, but we have had frustrations with the whole team, the management this season in games, and it's a big night for us. It's ended up being a cracking result for us, but it's almost let him off again, because we 100% would have been on his back because no one really saw Billing coming on, if I'm being honest, unless anyone wants to agree with me.
Did I say that? I can't remember whether or not it was in a feed to yourself, Kirk, but did I swear I said, what's he doing with Billing? I never wanted to see Billing in a Bournemouth shirt ever again.
Yeah,
I'm sure you was in there on that feed as well, but I've just dumbfounded.
You said it on here last time as well.
Yeah. I was completely shocked when he brought him on. I thought, what the hell is he doing? We're 1-0 down. He's lost the bloody plot. But Eddie, Eddie's done so well for so long.
Should we doubt him in the end? Now,
Again.
I've got to say, now people,
Mm.
Rich, appreciate you coming on, mate. Steve is coming into the room, and we always talk about Morgan Scott and the way he seems to have some disco lights. Check out this bad boy. He's actually got the
I'm celebrating. I'm celebrating.
That's quality.
Are you sure you're not in the pub, Steve?
No, I've got 3 kids. This is normal.
Yeah. I can just imagine you like spending every single night just in there in the dark, whack on the disco lights,
Doing a few shapes.
That's what we do. Steve, we'll come to you very shortly, but Mark and Simon have been waiting. We'll come to Simon first. Simon,
please do, Simon.
Is it California you're in?
Yeah, I'm in Northern California, so it's a lovely day. It's beginning of the afternoon, so I watched the game at 11 a.m. this morning. Normally watch it with the kids, but they clearly have been mentally traumatized by the last 12 months of watching Bournemouth, so they didn't watch it with me today. It was funny this morning because my wife came up to me and I'm all stressed out before the game, and she's like, "Why did you do this? Why did you have this mental impact on yourself?" And I said, "Yeah, but you get these small moments like a couple of times a year that are worth the rest of the suffering." And so the second half today was one of those moments where you just can't believe what you're watching. It doesn't happen very often in football. I thought first 45 minutes, I thought you could tell within 5 minutes that the shape was all wrong because it's completely overloaded in the midfield and they had so much width and we didn't have any. But he did. I thought he would change it at the drinks break and he didn't. Then at half time, I was the same as the rest of you, and it's like Billing was on, Stacey was at left wing back. I couldn't even figure out a formation for a few minutes. But yeah, they looked much better. And then, but I still thought, maybe we'll nick a goal and it will be a 1-1. But there we go. And then it just went madness after 65 minutes.
Just a single moment, wasn't it? And then, it was just, like a series of events. We'll come to Steve if he is back with his disco lights. So I'm going to just unmute him here. Hopefully he can hear us. Thoughts on that, Steve? Because the first 45 was pretty woeful, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's the biggest understatement, I think. I don't know. We just had that. We had that bit of luck tonight, didn't we? We had that little bit of luck when we needed it. We were very abject first 45. I mean, I think there was loads of stuff floating around on Twitter. Myself, Kirk, I think there was a load of other people, but it was just saying how awful it was. And it's like we'd gone back again after the good performance against Spurs, and then I don't know what happened. I just literally, I don't even think I was paying attention when the penalty was awarded, which should have been a red card as well, by the way.
Yeah,
in my opinion. And then they just, I don't know, we just sort of kicked into life, didn't we? I mean, actually, the first 3, I think, all had a big element of luck in them, the goals. I mean, I think it was only Dom Solanke's last one, which you can actually give it, it was a genuinely good goal. But when you're down there, take what luck you get, and hopefully that is a catalyst.
Yeah, hopefully it will be. Now, Craig, didn't you plump for a Bournemouth win in the final forecast, I think?
I certainly did, but I didn't go for 4-1. I can assure you that. I went for 2-1.
What's the latest then in terms of you winning one of these bad boys? Are you going to be close, or is Tony Fong still smashing you out of the park?
Oh dear.
It's all gone horribly wrong, Craig, isn't it?
It has. I was at 1-0 down. I was 7-1 down. At least I've brought it to 6-2.
Yeah.
So the boys have done something right, but yeah, I don't think I'll be winning one of those. Although saying that, do I get one just because I predicted that we'd win tonight?
Let me just
bribery.
Let me just check with the owner of Back of the Net. No.
Cheers, Sam.
Mark's here with us. Mark,
Evening, gents.
we were at half time and even on 55 minutes, I had a sort of monologue prepared almost in my head about how I was
An
going to
obituary.
exactly. That's exactly what it was going to be. And then we won that penalty. The game changed, didn't it?
Oh, massively, Sal. I mean, first of all, I have to applaud you on your choice of attire this evening. I wore this for the Tottenham game as well, and I thought we played pretty well with that. So I think I'll stick with this one until the end of the season, and hopefully, it'll be a positive result.
Deal.
I mean, to be honest, the main reason for coming on here, I just really wanted to hear what Reese's comments are going to be if he comes on tonight about Dom Solanke, because wasn't it last week he was saying he never wanted to hear that player's name again.
He did. He did.
But yeah, I mean, coming back onto today's game, Sam, I mean, a bit like yourself, I was kind of thinking in my head, I wanted to come out and, talk about what we did in the first watch or what we didn't do in the first half. And I really think that, that performance itself was, as worse as it's ever been. Yeah. I mean, I remember a game against, I think it was like Preston in the Carabao Cup like a few years ago. And that was an appalling sight to behold. But that was, since lockdown, I think that was probably the worst performance I've seen. I mean, the amount of, again, misplaced passes that were going astray. I mean, how Gosling held onto the ball for that long in the Premier League, not just sort of lay it back to Ake. And then, of course, you got the Danjuma pass back as well, which is, has caused, Ake to be at his absolute best again to make a sliding tackle. Unfortunately, now he's now got an injury. I just, praying to the gods above that, this isn't the last time that we're going to see him in a shirt, albeit, we'll never be able to really give him a proper send-off if we're not allowed back in the ground and that. Yeah. But, I mean, again, I'm similar sort of opinion to Kirk, really. Let's not get too carried away with this. I think the scoreline, really does sort of flatter us. For 65 minutes of that game, we really just didn't look we weren't going to get anywhere near the goal, really. I mean, it took us, above 45 minutes for us to register our first shot on target with David Brooks there. And that was a comfortable save for Schmeichel. And even in sort of, the second half from then, we weren't really doing anything. I was just sort of switching off, and I was just kind of going through social media because I was just more interested in seeing what other people had to say. And I don't know. I don't know what was more infuriating or frustrating, watching the game or just watching what people are saying on social media. The whole, Eddie out army and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, let's also, in the same breath, let's congratulate the guys as well, because, when you are down in the dumps and you are, you are literally scraping the barrel on that to come out and then have, even if it is just 30 minutes of a performance like that. I mean, you can see from all of us now, we're all, we're just trying to not, smile at the moment. It's absolutely fantastic, and if that is, the last, best result that we're ever going to get, I'm glad it's a 4-1 against Leicester, and Dom Solanke to get 2. Who'd have thought? I mean, does 2020 want to throw anything else out at us? It's a bit mental.
It is. Now, Mark, you mentioned Reese. I'm surprised he's not here. However, after that video, we've been talking on the phone. I'm going to call him right now. I'm going to call him right now. And
absolutely, mate. Cannot
it's
wait.
fine. I have got permission because I've just said, is it okay to call? So let's hear what he's got to say. Here we go. Reese, talk to me about Dom Solanke, mate.
So I take back everything I said. So I saw the penalty.
Yeah.
Stanislas took that. I screamed my head off. My house was shaking and everything.
Yeah.
I went to my mum. I screamed my head off. As I walked back, I see 2-1, and I'm like, who scored? Who scored? Callum Wilson has the ball. Red card. What's going on? Is there going to be a VAR intervention? I found out Dominic Solanke scores, and I'm like, okay, I take everything back. Worth every penny. Okay. I'm over the moon. I've been screaming my head off. I started crying.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw Stanislas, oh my God, Stanislas, that player, such class.
Yeah.
That player, I can't say anything. I've lost the words. I'm too buzzed.
Well,
by the way,
Go on. Yeah, go on.
I couldn't join your live because I clicked the link in the description.
Yeah.
And it did 404 couldn't be found or something.
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll text you another link just to make sure you can get it, because it'd be nice to see your face as well. What I'm going to do, mate, is I'm going to speak to the people that are in there already, but thank you very much, because we are live. It is a bit weird me calling you, but I will speak to you soon, no doubt, and I'll send you a link so you can get it right away, okay?
Cheers, Reece.
Cheers, Reece. Nice one. That was weird. Never done that before. Bit strange. So Mark, there you have it. He pretty much ate his words within 0.5 seconds of me calling him.
Love it. I mean, that guy's on the ball, isn't he? I mean, what a top bloke he is. And you know what? We need more fans like Reece. Even if you have just joined us recently, in that, to have that sort of passion and desire, to want to support the team and the club. That's just brilliant. And that fills me with, a lot of hope as well. I quickly wanted to just come back onto the game, Sam, and just, briefly mention, before sort of lockdown, I've never really appreciated, in some respects, just actually how good of a player Stanislas actually is.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I mean, if I was to ever do one of your starting 11s, like 9 times out of 10, he would never have been in there. It would always be either like the Frasers, the Brooks, who else, the Pews and so forth. But actually seeing him now, sort of close up and actually watching the games in a little bit more detail, to actually see like his touch, his control, his actual movement, the balls he wants to play in. I mean the guy, again, he's come on today and he looks like he has pretty much changed the game on its head also. Brilliant, absolutely fantastic. How dare they, continue to give me any hope that we're going to survive in that? Because again, I was looking forward to having a conversation. But you know what? I'm really excited about going into the championship, and I'm actually looking forward to the squad that we're going to have. Clearing out some of the dead wood, getting some money in, and I think again something like Kirk was saying from last week, maybe about actually having one of the strongest backlines for a change. That in itself was going to be a positive, but. Slipping out,
Sam,
we just don't know when to quit.
Yeah.
Can I pick up something?
I'm going to bring in Paul Kenwood, but thank you very much, Mark. Appreciate that, buddy. Yeah, go on, Kurt.
Yeah, cheers, guys. Thank you.
Sorry, I was just going to pick up on something there that Mark said. Sorry, just while he was on that point about luck and us actually getting some luck for a change. But I don't know about what you guys think, but I've had a lot of frustrations this year when we've been in and around opposition box where we've tried to tippy-tappy, trying to play these intricate passes, 1, 2, 3, 4s, trying to nutmeg players. And it's so frustrating when we've been in the stadiums and just go, have a shot. And you never know what happens. And what happens tonight? We shoot. It comes off a defender's legs. It side foots Schmeichel and it goes in the back of the net. This is what we might need. And so many times this year, we're trying to score the perfect goal. And actually, 20 yards out, just have a pop. It might end up in Rosehead. It might end up in the goal. And I just don't think we do that enough.
Yeah,
I think Solanke's first goal, it was like, there's so many times this season you just seen somebody try and pass it, score the perfect goal, and he didn't do that. He took it himself and had a go, and that's why he scored.
Yeah, Simon, I was about to say, you're very active on Facebook, and you're active in a lot of the forums, and you see a lot of anti-Eddie sentiment on there, and Eddie out, Eddie this. What's your thoughts on Eddie Howe, and what would your usual response be to some of these, on the whole, younger fans, but there are some older ones as well that think he's had his day?
I think we should keep Eddie. He's not become a bad manager overnight. I think what's happened with the team the last year to 18 months has been a transition from the championship team that then kept us up in the Premier League for 3 years, to try and transition some of those players out into a new team, and it hasn't really worked. So I think he should stay. I mean, even if we go down, I don't think he's a bad manager. I think tactically sometimes he doesn't seem to see the glaring obvious thing, or doesn't make a substitution when the game's crying out for it. But I still think he's a great manager. He's born and bred in Bournemouth, and even if we could get a better manager, there wouldn't be a local person who understands the club and everyone involved with the club. And so I think we should keep him.
Good stuff. Appreciate having you on, Simon. Thanks very much for getting involved, and enjoy your day, buddy. And it's been a pleasure to have you on. Paul Kenwood is here as well. Paul, Is that almost a smile I see?
It was never in doubt, was it, Sam?
Never in doubt. Never in doubt.
Never in doubt. Well, what can you say? I mean, it's a funny old game. At half time, well, even after 60 minutes, nobody would have predicted that we'd get anything from that game. And then 5 minutes of madness changed everything, and could well have, given us the impetus now to go on and get some results in the other remaining 3 games. I mean, imagine if we beat Man City and then we only needed a draw. You've got a dream now, haven't you? You've got to have hope. That's all we've got left.
Yeah, and that performance has actually, given us hope, because if we had lost or if we had drawn, it wouldn't mathematically be decided today. It probably wouldn't at Man City. It would probably be Saints that, basically put us out of our misery. But what it does is just prolong our hope somewhat. And, just imagine if we could. But realistically, will we, or how do we, Paul, get anything at Man City?
Good question. Probably by parking the bus and hitting them on the counter is the only thing you can do. I mean, Man City are going to attack no matter what you do. They don't care about your formation. They don't care about your players. They just rip people apart. It's quite brutal watching them actually play, and it's quite impressive the way they do it. But I think we can, if we can not do what Lloyd Kelly did and sort of just flick your foot at their shots, then potentially we've got a chance of, if we just lump it as far away as we can from our own goal, then, make them build back towards us every time, then maybe we've got a chance on the counter. I mean, who would have thought that Burnley could get a point against Liverpool? But, it's a funny season. Things are happening that shouldn't be happening.
Very, very good point. Steve, I'm going to take you out for a bit, and I'm going to bring in Max. So, thank you very much for your input this evening. Really appreciate it, buddy. And, in a word, will we beat Man City?
Well, yes, we will. Do you know why?
Tell us why.
They're the only team we haven't beaten, have we?
True.
Yeah, and it's 2020. It's a year of weird stuff. So
yeah,
that's the way I'm looking at it. Anyway.
Yeah, you never know.
I'm not putting any money on that though, because I get it wrong every time.
Yeah, don't do that. Nice one. Appreciate you coming on.
All right, cheers, guys.
Cheers,
Steve.
Thank you, Steve. So that was Steve, and also I am so excited to chat to this man who said that Dominic Solanke was this, was that. Reese, how are you? How are you feeling this evening? I know that the club just means absolutely everything to you, and tonight you are visibly buzzing, aren't you?
Yeah, I remember last season.
Yeah,
I met Josh King in person, and he I had receipt. My mum bought me a top for my birthday, and Josh King did sign my top for me.
Yeah, oh, that's quality.
Right here. So I take everything back. I'm gonna say this for myself. I take everything back from Dominic Solanke. All right. So Man City, I'm happy to see that as a game gone. Southampton, Everton. This is how I see it, because Watford's last 2 fixtures. They've got Man City, Arsenal. We lose against them, then we win at Saints home and draw with Everton, or opposite. If we do that, I believe we can stay up. But I think I'm probably going to get myself a pint in a bit.
Yeah.
I've already had 3.
I don't know. I'm going to explain it. When they scored, I was depressed. I was on the sofa and I was like, here we go again. So they scored half time. I saw Callum Wilson through and go, and I was like, "Son, am I allowed to swear?"
Yes, you can.
I was like, "You fucking what, referee? You better give him a fucking penalty right now! I swear to Christ!" Gave him a penalty. I was like, "All right, Stanislas, this is all on you, boy. This is all on you." And then, yeah, it's just I just felt I flew up on flying high. With the red flag flying high to Wembley.
Mate, well, we've all, mate, I love your infectious enthusiasm. Max is here as well, so you might need to unmute your mic, Max, because I've got you unmuted this end. That's it. How are you doing, buddy? 4-1. Not bad performance, eh?
No, not bad at all. I'm pleased with that. Just speechless. All the Man United fans would be pleased because, it's a step closer for top 4 for them. And, also, 4-1 Leicester. top 4 team. They just taken points off of them and just gone and scored 4 goals against a team that are very well oiled, very well drilled. You know, they did all right in the first half. We didn't do too good, but second half we went for it and we just did it.
Yeah. Do you think the order of games that we've got left is maybe a bit annoying? You know, given that we're starting to get a bit of momentum, got that draw against Spurs, a decent win against the top 4 side. We could do with playing almost Everton and Saints now and then Man City at the end. Is that in danger of killing any momentum we've got going?
Well, yeah, there's that, but like you said, I'd rather have Man City at the end of the season because we've picked our game up. We have lost a few games and knocked down, and it's affected us all. I'd like to say, but if we have Man City at the end of the season, because we have good momentum at the minute, we play well against Saints and Everton, and we get 3 points against them too, and then we've beaten Watford, then I'll be happy with that and leave Man City till the end. It doesn't matter if we lose that or not, but we need a point. Be happy.
I would like to say, like, a good performance against Manchester City, it won't ruin the momentum because they're arguably the best team in England, and it's kind of inevitable because we've beaten Liverpool's, we've beaten the Tottenhams, but out of every team in the league, they're the most difficult. Like, they've got so many. When you look at their options on the bench, it's honestly disgusting. They've got Jesus on the bench. They've got Kevin. It's disgusting. It makes me feel sick. How much?
Also, with that. Because of what you said, Man City, we like I said, we were at home against them in 2017, 1-1, 93rd minute. Was added on time, and then it goes to 99 minutes, and they score a goal because Mike Dean goes and makes us lose. Could have got a point in that game and all, but no, we lose.
Yeah, Max,
But,
can you just tilt your head to the side a minute so we can see that wallpaper behind you, mate? Because that's the.
Oh, that is beautiful. That is so beautiful. I'm proud of you. If I was your
ripped
dad,
your
I'd be
wallpaper?
so proud of you.
No
I'm
one.
so proud of you.
Yeah,
Like,
either that is wallpaper or you have got a direct flat right next to the stadium where you just bulldoze through it.
Oh, that is so beautiful.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, not a bad look.
Yeah.
And so, Max, what's your realistic result against Man City that you'd be happy to see us go? I mean, obviously a win or a draw, but would you take like a 1-0 defeat, say? Or do you think
1-0? Yes, I would. I would love to win or draw, but a 1-0 defeat against Man City is not too bad because the goal difference would still help. Just because we lose, Man City are a top team. 1-1 goal difference is from if we lose like 1-0, I'll be fine with. But to get a draw or a win would be better. But against Man City would be great, even a clean sheet. But I can't see that. But football is football. You never know.
Yeah, go on,
I
Rick.
would like us to. I'd like us. If we lost, I would like us to lose. But I think it was going to go all the way down to goal difference and last game of the season.
Yeah, well, it could well do.
We have such a big chance. Look at Watford's last 2 games. Arsenal, Man City, and West Ham. West Ham are firing. They're both firing all cylinders. But I got my money on West Ham. West Ham are staying up, and I want us to stay up from Watford. Like,
Watford, I hate them.
I'm so happy.
Nice one, Max. Appreciate you've coming on, mate. Thank you so much for your opinion, as ever.
Cheers,
Thank you very much. We will bring Morgan back as well because he has got more to say. Morgan, short of words. That's a bit unlike you. Go on then. You've got 2 minutes. Go.
2 minutes? Wow, I think I need a bloody hour. Oh my god!
That's the best you sounded.
God. Thanks. Solanke, my word. Did I not say that he would score off his knee? And what did he do? He came back and he gave us everything we asked for. And oh my god, it wasn't the best performance. I'm not gonna lie, but we sit here at 4-1 up against Leicester. I take a lot of positives from that today. A lot of positives, not just the win. We got kept. The only downside if we get the clean sheet, but we sit here and I said that we're going to win today, and we have, and now we're going to go and win against Man City. and then we're going to go and win against Southampton, and then we will win against Everton, and we will be in.
If Solanke scores again, if Dominic Solanke scores again, I'm gonna spend a night in a bin, and I'm gonna put 2 eggs on my head. keep my word on it. Keep my word on it. If he scores against
That's
Manchester
completely
City,
random.
I don't know if that's worse than yours, Craig.
That probably is, to be fair.
If we win
Morgan, appreciate you coming on. Yeah, sorry, Reese. Go on, Reese.
If we win against Manchester City, I am going to pour a whole gallon of milk on my head, 3 eggs, and I'm thinking of other crazy stuff to do. If we beat City,
Sounds like you're making an omelette.
yeah. I can't see Nigella taking. I don't think Nigella's going to be doing that recipe, Reese. But, I mean, what a difference a win makes, though. We're all smiling here. And why couldn't we have done this earlier? Because we could have been smiling knowing that Premier League safety is all but secured. As it is, we're still a long way away from safety, still relying on other teams. But is it just the fact that it's just given us that little bit of hope that's making us feel so much better, Craig?
Yeah, there's that little bit. Oh, sorry, Grace. Go on. You go, mate.
No, you go.
It's that little bit of hope. To be honest, we against Palace, we was poor. Against Newcastle, we were shambolic. But there is that little bit of hope now. Fantastic result. 4-1 against Leicester. Okay, yeah, they were down to 10 men, but they were down to 10 men after we pulled it back to 2-1. So I think the only thing that we need to remove from our game, especially defensively, is the silly mistakes. Lloyd Kelly's done very well since he's come back in, but what he was doing, trying to back heel it there, I don't have a clue. But there's that little bit of hope now. City's still going to be such a difficult game, but if we beat Southampton, beat Everton, then hopefully, fingers crossed, that'll be enough. It might still not be enough, but that's what you've got to hold on to. That's the little bit of hope you've got to hold on to.
We're going to bring in. We're going to bring in Steve and Ben very shortly. So Steve and Ben, if you stand by. But yeah, Reese, go on. Sorry.
I am begging Jack Simpson does not play the final games. I am begging Eddie Howe not to start Jack Simpson. He starts Jack Simpson, we're going down. I'm not even saying that. Jack Simpson, he made me cry in that Liverpool game. We could have had a point. Or if it's not even Stephen to get injured.
Reece, I don't think he will, mate. I don't think he will. I don't think he'll get another minute this season, mate.
But
Reece,
you are right, Craig.
Yeah, go on.
Also, what happened to Chris?
He's got a knee problem, I think, hasn't he? He's having injections just to be on the bench. You are right, though, Craig. I mean, the first 60 minutes, 65 minutes of that was identical to what we watched against Palace and Newcastle. The difference tonight was that we were still in the game, and that was the difference. Was previously we were out the game by a couple of goals, and that's what's let us off tonight, and that's hopefully where the tide is turning, and we're getting a little bit of luck. But I don't think we're going to be able to play like that anymore and still think we're going to get 3 points out of it at least 2 more times. So we've got to play a lot better. I mean, the first half we were poor with the ball, Palace and Newcastle, individual errors, Palace and Newcastle, and we've got to cut them out now. We cannot be doing it anymore.
Yeah, I think
against Manchester City.
Sorry, Reece.
You go. If we do that against Manchester City, if we do that against Manchester City, they'll make us pay triple times. Like this is too much. Like, we need to be on our game. We don't have our best defender is out injured, so we have a quite experienced centre back coming back as Steve Cook. We need him on his game. We need him to be don't make any mistakes at all, and we need Lloyd Kelly not to make any more mistakes. Anything else but that, he's been class.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Reece, thank you for coming on. And sorry for that very spontaneous phone call, but I just wanted to hear what you had to say about Tom Solanke, and credit for you for coming on. Really appreciate it. Also, Steve's here, and Steve, feeling euphoric, I'm sure, still 4-1, decent performance.
I've just been listening to all the interviews after it, and yeah, pretty chuffed, to say the least.
Chuffed. I mean, it was a good sort of last 30 minutes, but up until that, it was bloody dreadful, wasn't it? And were you thinking that the writing was on the wall on sort of 50, 55 minutes? We were playing poorly, and then all of a sudden that penalty came out of nowhere, and then the game just completely changes. What I mean, it has to be just a mental thing, surely.
Yeah, as soon as they were 10 men down, I think the fire in the boys and the hope from really kicked into life. And I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall in the dressing room at half time with the boys, and Eddie Howe probably given them a right seeing to. But yeah, they definitely come out fighting in the second half. So yeah, I still think Man City next week. It's going to be tasty.
Yeah, I mean, they've got both us and Watford, so that they could determine what goes on. Now, I don't know what fixtures Man City have got around our games, but they could be crucial in deciding both of our fates. And Arsenal have also got Watford, and that West Ham match, Kirk, Watford-West Ham. What's the ideal outcome for that? Are we thinking that West Ham are just too strong, and maybe it would be better if West Ham just smashed Watford 3-0?
I always thought that West Ham probably had enough in their squad to not go down even, before Project Restart got going. I actually thought Brighton would fall into the trap, but they seem to start quickly and they've saved themselves. So I think it's all or nothing between us and Watford now. And when West Ham are on their game, they are a mid-table football team, in my opinion. I mean, they've got enough quality in there. I don't think they're any better than 10th or 11th, but they've got enough quality in there. So, and I think at home, I can't see Watford getting anything, but football is a funny game. I'm confident West Ham will get a result at home. Now they've hit a bit of form and Antonio's sticking the balls away. So hopefully he can do us a favour.
Fingers crossed now. Sorry, Craig. Ben's here as well, and it looks like Ben's audio is working. The first time the picture was a bit funny, but we've got you looking loud and clear, and looking very happy as well, Ben.
I just can't believe that. I think that's classic Bournemouth. That's all or nothing, and I'm a bit speechless. I don't know what to say. So you thought you'd come on here? But yeah, go on. I've never seen Leicester so. I've never seen a team like Leicester crumble like that. And they just completely Bournemouth completely turned it around. Like, I was on the couch watching it 1-0 for the first half, and it was just absolutely awful. And I didn't know what was going on. I just felt like, right, we're going down. And now we've got a chance. And it's just like, can we, I feel like really positive. And can we beat City? It's just amazing. If we can stay up, it would just be like such an achievement just to stay up. Like we just feel like we're just completely beaten like before today.
I've already commented saying that we can get points from the top flight teams, but we struggle with the lower flights. So I'm having confidence in Man City at the moment. So
you're giving me hope,
I'm putting myself on the line here. I know that, but
Craig's there, sort of pursing his lips, thinking, "Oh, really? Can we do it?" I mean, Craig, it's funny what a win can do. And I was listening to From the Rookery End, which is a Watford podcast. I listened to a fair bit because I think it's a team that's on our sort of level where they certainly have been this season. And just to hear the 3 or 4 guys doing it around a table, you could hear how happy they were. Now, maybe that's put a bit of an element of doubt into their conversations, and now they're sort of looking a bit more closely at their fixtures to come. But what's your percentage level in terms of hope at the moment?
Well, I think with regards to Watford, they've not looked very they haven't looked very confident at times. They've looked a little bit shaky. In their first game back, apart from moment brilliant from each side, I didn't see either for anything from themselves or Leicester. So, I'm confident. They're the ones to catch. West Ham, if you remember back to Newcastle in the late 2000s, they had a very, very talented side, but they always flattered to deceive. And that's a bit like West Ham are. West Ham have got lots of talent, but they just don't perform. They let their fans down. I honestly think we can. If we can get a point up at City, that'd be a fantastic result. I doubt we'll get that, but you've got to stay with that bit of optimism. But I think Watford are the team we've got to try and catch.
Watford are such a bad team, though. They're a horrible team.
Yeah.
Like, they need to just go down.
Well, they scraped past Newcastle in the previous match. Before that, they scraped 2-1. They might be looking at us thinking Bournemouth were, they swept aside Leicester 4-1. They might look at the result. If they look at the performance, they might think otherwise. But you look at it; it didn't flatter us. Nearly made it 5-1 with Sam Surridge, who could have scored that. And it's like, wow, I texted Paul Kenwood and Mr. Tiggs on WhatsApp, and I said, we're 3-1 up. We're looking like really dominant. We need to be going for this now. And at that point, we got the fourth, and it's certainly helpful for the goal difference. Ben, we'll just we're gonna just wrap up shortly. So Ben, we'll say goodbye. But thoughts, out of 10, chances of staying up?
I don't know. I'm happy with the win, but I don't know. It's like you've got to get back to reality. I don't know, 7, 6, 7.
6, 7. At least we've got that now, haven't we? At least we've got that because we didn't have it before. But,
we just won. It hasn't been a good season at all. And it was just like, that's a massive win. So we'll just have to see.
Right, nice one, Ben. Thank you very much. Appreciate you coming on. And look at these lovely messages we've got from Afsin Bay. Okay, saying you suck and then fuck off to the championship. Hello, Afsin. Do you want to come online? Just go to afcpodcast.com/take part, and you can come on here and chat.
Yeah.
If you want to do that, come on. Yeah, go on, Craig.
Go on.
That's probably the Southampton fan that started jumping up and down at half time and kept.
Absolutely
completely quiet. As soon as it went to 2-1.
What I'll do,
rewind this later and look him up
in the chat. I'll even post the message for him with the
pop him on
with the link. If he wants to come online and chat face to face, then he can. But I guess that he wants to do the old mobile phone thing, and then such a dickhead. Anyway, if he keeps going on, I'll just block him from the chat. Rich,
to be fair, Sam,
go on.
The people today that upset me were Arsenal and Crystal Palace, because I had 400 quid on it that everyone else would win off a fiver. And they're the two that let me down. You know what I mean? I mean, Crystal Palace not been great before. They're due a win, and it's against Villa. I can't, go the other way. And Tottenham haven't been great, but sodding hell, I lost me money.
To be honest, apart from ourselves, everybody's upset me this weekend because I haven't won the funnel forecast. That's the thing.
I think the thing is as well.
I wish
Palace is still on our beach as well.
Exactly. If I put the bet on Bournemouth to win, I would have been right.
That's why you're drawing. That's why you're drowning your sorrows, isn't it, Rich?
Craig,
I've had a barbecue this afternoon, I must admit.
It seems to be hitting you hard, this funnel forecast. I feel like almost getting my violins out.
Oh, look at that!
Can you just send him one of them, please?
Yeah. We haven't even got them made yet, so I was just gonna put in the order as soon as someone wins the bloody thing, but no one wants to win it. This is just
Sam. I've got thrashed, mate. I've got. It's not even narrow win for Tony. He smashed me.
Absolutely love it. Absolutely.
He was going to go with his head though.
Afsin is he coming in? No, he's not going to come in. No, of course he's not.
No.
Rich, Steve, thank you very much for coming on. Really appreciate it. It's hopefully going to be a good couple of days until Man City twat us 8-0 at the Etihad or whatever happens. But anyway, we
To
can
be
enjoy
fair,
it.
I'm not really bothered about that result. It's the other two afterwards that I'm bothered about.
Yeah,
I was looking at the last 4 games, and I think we've got it slightly easier than Watford. So
Fingers crossed. Put some positive thoughts there from Steve. Steve, thanks very much for coming on, and also Rich, nice to have you on a couple of times tonight. Thank you very much. So just to close then, guys, we're going to do one of these awful fixture calculator things, all right? And let's just pretend. So we're only going to do the matches that sort of affect us. So we're talking Villa, Watford, West Ham, our own. So here then, Man City versus AFC Bournemouth. I mean, let's be realistic, shall we? What are we thinking for this? We're probably going to
go with the head.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to think 1-1. I would like to think 1-1, something like that, or a 0-0. I don't think we'll stop on scoring, so 1-0 is probably more of a hope than a 0-0. But I think it would have to go with our head. But what, maybe a 2-0 or 3-0?
I reckon let's go 2-1. I would 2-1 to City. I think they are head and shoulders above everybody else.
Kirk?
Yeah, I mean, my heart says that we can pull off a miracle, we can get something up there, but my head says I think we get out of there with a 2-0. I think it's even pushing it that we might score, but we are buzzing from tonight, so they might still have that confidence going in, and we might score early.
And it's good that the match happens thick and fast as well. I mean, in 3 days' time, we're on it again.
City have done that before. You know, I think generally when teams score against City at the Etihad, they score early goals. So if we are full of beans and we come out flying, we might get the early goal. But my head says we don't get a result, but I think we lose slightly.
Yeah, Steve Hensman is saying, "Don't ask Craig; he's useless." So, thanks for that confidence. Stephen Brown is going for a 2-1. Yassine, I'll actually post the link of the website because it's quite a handy one to work out. I'll post it in chat. So whether you're watching on YouTube and Facebook, hopefully you'll see this message, and there you go. That is the link you need to go to. So that's that one. Kirk, will come to you for the other match that probably affects us, Everton v Villa. Everton, not a bad side.
Yeah, we're on their day at home. I can't see Villa getting anything there. I know Everton were poor today, but that'll probably turn around at home. I can see them winning 2-1.
2-1. Okay. So what else we've got now? Obviously, West Ham v Watford.
Yeah, give that one to Craig.
Yeah, Craig.
It's the big one. Personally, a lot of people would say, well, you know, a draw would be a good result for us. I personally don't think it will, because of our goal difference. You know, we can't rely on Man City thrashing Watford. I do think, though, West Ham are a much better side. I think they're much stronger. I also think Watford have been very lucky, especially against Norwich, who, let's be fair, are atrocious. You know, okay, they beat us, but we were terrible that day. But personally, I think West Ham will win that, and I think they probably win it quite convincingly as well.
2-0, 3-0.
I'd go 3-1. I think they've got. I think they're a bit dodgy at the back, but I don't think Watford are any good at all. They were lucky yesterday as well.
Brilliant. Okay, nice one. We'll go for that. Then Bournemouth v Southampton. I mean, for us, Southampton are pretty decent at the moment, but you know, to keep the dream alive, we're gonna have to say a Bournemouth win, Kirk, aren't we?
Yeah. So a season not full of smiles. What will put a smile on my face is doing the double over them. So even if we go down, but we've done the double, I'll be happy. Well, I won't be fully happy, but at least there'll be something to cheer about. Southampton, they like a goal at Vitality, and their away form has been very good. So that's a concern. However, we're going to beat them. We have to beat them. And I'm going to go for 2-1 again.
2-1. Okay.
You know what? I was thinking that as well, Kirk. And I think, you know, Danny Ings probably will get one against us. But, you know, I think hopefully King's back. Callum's firing. But then against Solanke, if he plays like he did tonight, especially in those last 25 minutes, you know, it gives options.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to rave on it. I mean, they are better away from home than they are at home, but it is a derby, and I think we will lift ourselves for that naturally. I mean, we're going to lift ourselves anyway because we need the points. But yeah, and the, you know, the proposition of beating them twice in the season, there's enough there to get those players pumped.
Okay.
I'd love to put 9-0 just for our Southampton friends.
That would be nice. Watford at Manchester City. Sorry, at home against Manchester City. Tricky one, Kirk.
I'd hope to think that Man City can get at least 3. They scored 5 against Brighton. And like Craig says, although they've had a couple of wins, Watford, they're not great. They've not been brilliant. So I'm going to go for a 3-0 Man City.
Yeah. I would concur with that. And then Man United, of course, have hit a rich vein of form, Craig, and they're at home against West Ham United. I can't see Man United not winning that.
To be honest, out of the games that are left, I think the only game where Man United may get pulled back is tomorrow night, which I did predict as a draw. I can't see West Ham turning Man United over. I think it'd probably be 2-1. I think Antonio will probably grab one, but I think Man United are, well, there's a formed team in the Premier League. To be fair, next season, I think they'll be competing at the very top with Liverpool and Man City.
So they're looking pretty decent at the moment, I've got to say. So that brings us on to match week 38. We're going to give our predictions here, then we'll go to the bottom of the table and see whereabouts we are at. Did we do the Aston Villa prediction on that last one? No, we didn't. They're home against Arsenal. So what's that going to be? You know, Tyrone Mings at centre back. What, 0-5, 0-6?
Yeah. I mean, they're playing at home. They might score, but yeah, I think it'd be
1-3. Yeah, they'll probably. Okay, let's go with that. Just check that match week. Yeah, we did all the teams there, did we? Yeah, we did. Okay. And let's just check. Oh, Man United, Southampton. Yeah, okay. So match week 38 then. Below, I'll be calculating the league table based on the results that we've put in. Scary times. If only leagues could be decided like this, it'd be so much better. Kirk, Arsenal at home to Watford.
Is David Luiz playing?
Bloody hope not.
Do you know what it is with Arsenal at home, and especially on the last day of the season? I'm pretty sure history tells you they gift a few goals. I still think they beat Watford overall, but it wouldn't surprise me if the game finishes something like 4-2.
But could it be? You know, because Arsenal. I mean, the only good thing I can think of is that Arsenal and Spurs might still be battling it out.
Yeah.
For if not Champions League place or Europa, just pride. You know, they're neck and neck at the moment. So what, 4-2 we'll go for?
I mean, I look at Arsenal like us. I think they've got errors in their defence, and I can see them conceding. But I think they've got enough up top to probably beat them overall over 90 minutes.
Craig, we're going to beat Everton in the last game of the season, are we?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
A 2-1, 2-0.
I would actually say, because
whatever you say, make sure the first score is less than the second. That's
most definitely. But I would say that Everton actually are a little bit like Spurs in their way, which we did well. We did well against Spurs the other night. So I'm going to go for a 1-0 win.
1-0 win to AFC Bournemouth. That will leave it hairy, won't it? On the.
But you know it's going to be like that, isn't it?
Yeah. And then West Ham v Aston Villa. Aston Villa, you know, potentially down and out by then. What are you thinking, Kurt?
Yeah, again, I think that's a 2-1 or a 3-1. I think West Ham win. I think they've got too much for them.
All right.
So I can't see.
I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about that. I
It
reckon
depends where
Villa might get something there.
Yeah,
Because,
the only thing
but it
that could
doesn't
sway
matter.
that, the only thing that could sway that is if West Ham are obviously safe and they're on the beach or whatever. But they might. I mean, we could go for a draw, maybe a 1-1 or something like that.
Okay.
I reckon Villa might, at that point, get a result up there because they will be throwing the kitchen sink at West Ham, especially if there is a slender chance that they can get out of it.
All right. Well, let's go for 1-1 then, shall we?
Because I think the difference with the Watford game with West Ham is they're still fighting for the points and they're still not mathematically out of it. But like you say, Craig, they might be mathematically out of it by then, and Aston Villa are still, battling. So, yeah, that could end up a draw.
Okay, so what we're going to do then, we're going to see what this does. Breathe deeply. Right. Okay. Let's press the calculate button. Now, obviously, the top of the league table, we didn't do the predictions of these teams up here, so it is going to be 35s and 36s, 37s. However, that sees us finishing 3 points clear. Brighton, we didn't predict, by the way, of course. That sees us finishing 3 points clear. Are we drunk?
I don't know how we worked that one out, Sam, but we'll take it.
I mean, that is confident from Craig for the Everton game, and I understand what he's saying about Everton and Tottenham and those types of teams, and and I hope to think we can get a result there.
And what he basically said there is that Watford will not pick up another point, and they are, in your mind, going to lose to West Ham, lose to Man City, lose to Arsenal. And let's face it, those fixtures, they are not easy fixtures.
No.
I mean, if you've got our fixture running and theirs, you take ours, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, on my run this morning, I said we needed 9 out of the next 12. The reason I said that is I felt it'd give us a little bit of a buffer. I mean, 7 could potentially do it with goal difference having a bit of a part to play as well. But I think the 9, I just think would be enough that we wouldn't need to worry about goal difference.
Sam, just go back to that image again.
Yeah.
Just very quickly. Say Watford did beat West Ham.
Yeah, I can put that into the fixture calculator here. So where is it? So what do you want to go for? Like maybe a cheeky 2-1 to Watford or something?
Yeah, go for a 2-1 to Watford.
This is how it would affect that would send West Ham down.
Yeah, it will be. There's so many possibilities with this.
I think we're sort of running before we can walk, really. And in terms of, I know we're predicting these results, but obviously we've got to do what we need to do. And if we get anything at Man City or a low defeat, then that's not bad. I mean, it's hard. And this is where the Premier League, if we do go down, fair enough. But we're thinking that's a success. A draw at Man City or like a low defeat, and I hate it. I hate football like that because I want to go into every match, thinking that we can win. And that's what the Championship, provides for us. But it would be a relative success, wouldn't it, Kirk, I suppose? 1-0.
But I think that's where our squad is this season. I think Eddie's really struggled on the training field this season. I think he's got like 3 groups. I think he's got groups of players that have been there from the start, tailing out, and their Premier League careers depend on Bournemouth staying in the league. They've got a group of players that are using Bournemouth as a stepping stone to build their career, but don't see their long-term future at Bournemouth. And then you've got players that wanted out in August, January, and now. And I think that's been the problem is I've heard so many stories that it's been one of the best groups he's ever had, but I just can't see it. I just can't see it. I honestly look at them and think there's 3 groups there on a training field standing in bubbles. And I think that's what we're seeing on the football pitch. And that's in my opinion.
Brilliant. Kirk and Craig, really appreciate you coming on tonight. Thank you very much.
Cheers, Sam.
Glad at least doing one of these with smiles. Thanks very much, Kirk. Anticipating the Wednesday morning run. Appreciate that, buddy. Up the Cherries, he was about to say it. And Craig, many thanks.
Cheers, mate. Thanks.
No worries at all. And that concludes another full-time free-for-all. Wednesday, we're doing it all again after Man City. I can't promise it's going to be as amazing. However, we hope that you can join us and really appreciate everyone that's taken part, whether you've viewed on the chat or you've been on screen yourself, remember you can take part. All you need is a pair of these bad boys. Go to afcbpodcast.com/take part on your browser, and we'll be more than happy to get you involved. Thanks very much for tuning in. Do remember to like this video. If you're watching on Facebook, give the page a like, and on YouTube, do subscribe as well and give it a like, because it really does help us a lot. If you want to support the podcast as well financially, just for a few quid a coffee or whatever you can, it's afcbpodcast.com/coffee. We'll see you after Man City up at Cherries.